What's happening? What's happening?
You gotta get that side.
Oh my lord.
Oh.
Wow. Did we just get married?
Whoa.
Are we homebrew married now?
No.
In this episode of Chop and Brew, a celebration of life for our friend Tom Berg, who we lost way too soon this past spring. Tom was one of the owner-founders of Falling Knife Brewing Company in Minneapolis, as well as the brewery's chief brewing officer. He was a gentle giant, a true Twin Cities legend, and likely a familiar face to fans of Chop and Brew, as he and head brewer Robbie Denaway had been guests on the show many times over the years. In this video, Ass Bryon Adams hosts a memorial brew and barbecue day in honor of Tom. We brew a homebrew scale version of Tomm's American Lager, which is Falling Knife's nod to the Midwest quintessential beer Hamms. And of course, we had to throw a bunch of ribs on Tom's pull-behind smoker and hit him with 3 different sauces. All of that's just ahead. But first, a quick shout out to Imperial Yeast for their ongoing support of Chop and Brew, including hooking us up with the yeast for this project, L18 The Goat, a Bavarian lager strain from the lab's spring seasonal release. Their current summer release is L76 Clyde, wink wink, a strain they suggest for fermenting balanced, clean American lagers. It's available through late July 2025, so ask about it at your favorite homebrew supplier. What's going on, everybody? We are in the badass brewery of Ass Bryon Adams. We've got Leif Nielsen in the house, Chip Walton. We're here putting a nice bow on a brewing project with a not so great reason to happen, but we brewed in honor of a friend, Tom Berg, brewing legend, music legend of Twin Cities, who passed away unfortunately in early April of 2025. Not a week later, we gathered together for a Tom Berg Memorial Brew and Q Chop and Brew Day, brewed a clone or a tribute to his brewery, Falling Knife's Tomm's Lager. We brewed that beer, 10 gallons, right behind us here. Brian and Leif cooked up some yummy smokables, smoked good foods, using the pull-behind trailer that Tom had
Let us use for years for pig out.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
like, loan to you, borrow. Like, you inherited it to some extent, right?
To some extent.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been over to Chuck's house for his pig fest, back and forth, and we just decided it was perfect time to fire
it up.
smoker.
Yeah.
If we're brewing the beer, we might as well smoke something in honor of Tom.
Tom was a man who loved his barbecue. He judged the Pig Out barbecue that
Yeah.
Brian holds here annually. Few years running, was always kind of a late night guest.
Oh yeah, 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Pig Out.
Sitting out in the rain, just drinking, shooting the shit.
And it was amazing to watch Tom go from just like award-winning home brewer, just all-around good guy, to owner, operator, co-founder of Falling Knife with other awesome people, Robbie, Dan, just so. So yeah, we got together to pay tribute. We're gonna walk you through this beer. Now it's a little kind of like a roadmap to a beer, because as I'll read real quick here, Robbie Denaway, who is the head brewer at Falling Knife, was telling us, as far as the history of the beer, Tom and I had the idea of making an ode to Hamm's, H-A-M-M, thus the T-O-M-M. We joked that it was the beer that helped build our brewery. Numerous cases were enjoyed during the build out of Falling Knife. Seemed right to make our own version. We reverse engineered the recipe, as Tom would say, utilizing the flaked corn in the mash, hitting it with some corn sugar, in our case corn syrup, in the boil, and add more corn-based ingredients to help dry it out. He told us the first batch of Tomm's was Falling Knife batch number 18, brewed on Halloween.
Wow.
2019. So cheers to the first batch of Tomm's nearly 6 years ago. That's wild.
That's insane.
So Tom had given Brian the recipe some years ago.
Yeah.
And we're not really 100% sure if it's a homebrew kind of recipe, because I can't not believe Tom never tried to brew this. Clearly it differs a little bit from the brewery's version, which we can get into. But what was in the mashed tongue?
So going back just a little bit, we would always be out fishing on Lake Winnebago. We'd always have a Tom's. We'd take a picture and snap it to him. Be like, "We're on the lake fishing with your beer, Tom." He'd be like, "Cool." And just one day I was like, "Hey, you want to give me that recipe so we can make it homebrew version?" And right away he's like, here it is. And that's the recipe we got. Some 2-row, 6-row flake corn, a little bit of carafoam, corn syrup, and some hops. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about,
if you want to go.
The nerdy numbers is about 45% 2-row, 28, 30-ish, we'll call it 6-row, 10% flaked corn, 6-ish carafoam. We'll put this below. 8 of the corn syrup, which it went in the whirlpool.
Yep. Oh, it's boiling.
Are you boiling? I thought we didn't run off the rest of the water.
Oh, I came back and ran it off. I'm running it off.
Oh, it's still going. Yeah. Are you gonna hop it now?
I was just getting it ready, but I thought there was gonna be enough in there.
Oh, you thought it was gonna be higher?
Well, I'll get it cranked in now.
Hallertau and Citra for bittering, even though Robbie tells us that the brewery now they're using Warrior or Magnum to bitter. I remember there being like a joke to some extent, because it's 0.2 ounces of Citra for bitter, and I think Robbie at one point was like, that seems like a Tom thing to do. Like, there's got to be Citra, even if it's going to be like a German-inspired American lager.
Yeah, and I think vaguely I remember him saying, you should try and throw in some Citra or something else.
Yeah, maybe that's what
in there.
And 1 ounce of Hallertau middle fruit in the whirlpool.
Yeah.
1047 to 1009 is what Beersmith would say. Mm-hmm. You guys got 1046 to 1014.
Yeah.
A little high. And then we used Imperial Yeast in one of their limited edition. It was called the Goat.
The Goat.
Of course, Tom is the goat. So it seemed fitting. That, I believe, is the Eyinger strain. So good for my box. Why not a light American lager? Mm-hmm. So in the end, how did it turn out?
Well, we did 2 different fermentations. We did a lagered fermentation, then just an ale fermentation, and ended up with 2 different versions, so 5 gallons of each. You know, it got a little stuck, had to mess around with it a little bit, but you know, got it down to the 1014, and at that point decided to stop messing with it and put it in a keg.
Yeah. This is Tom's. This is the lager version of almost Tom's. So you can tell there's a color difference. But it did get clear. The lager version got clear. The ale version has
this is the ale version here.
A little bit of cloud.
There's the ale version.
Not the end of the world. Noticeably darker though. You know, we didn't twist Robbie's arm too hard to be like, is this really the recipe? Like, for all I know, it could be 6-row and corn only, and us doing the carafoam and the 2-row kind of bumped the color. We didn't want to dig. The enigma was part of the fun.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Right? Both of y'all's versions, I get just a little fruitiness that you wouldn't expect from the lager, or don't get from the lager version, but at that higher final gravity, I don't know if it was the yeast. To throw Ryan under the bus, we did just now, after looking back at the corn syrup that we used, it's that one that has like a little bit of salt and a little bit of natural vanilla flavoring, so we're like, that's not your high quality corn syrup that just like ferments out. So
not enough.
It does come off very cream ale is what I would say. It's still crushable. No diacetyl, no DMS. It has a little corn flavor, but we've all noted that it's just got a little sweetness that is more reminiscent of, like, I think cream ale.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
It's not that dry crisp that the commercial version is.
But it's still drinkable. You can knock this back
3
or 4 pints and
Not know what you're, not even notice you.
No.
Just not quite as dry or that kind of like herbally hop. I think some of that malt is hiding what hops are.
What else, Chip Walton?
I was going to say, Robbie said, recipe looks good.
I know, that's what he said.
That was a very Minnesotan way to be like, it looks good. I don't need to tell you more.
I'm not going to give you any other information.
He does say, we use Warrior or Magnum for the 60 ml edition and Hallertau Middle Brew for Whirlpool. 10 IBU target. When I ran your recipe through Beersmith, it was like 16, which is high, but considering that the final gravity ended up also high, it's probably came out in the wash, right?
Yeah.
Hot scotchy
Every brewery I've built in
for Tom. Shout out to everyone who showed up. It was a really fun day. It was like
Dono is here.
Dono,
Fleddy.
Jeremy King.
Jeremy King,
Jeremy
man. I ain't
King,
seen Jeremy King in
Chris
forever.
Payne,
Chris Payne.
Bob Sodman. Like it was
Epic.
for being within the week
Chuck Gosnell.
of the loss of Tom. Like it was really nice that so many people just kind of wanted to come together, drink some Toms, brew some Toms,
Just
have some hot scotchy on the deck.
just speaks about what Tom was about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like
All
how
the people came together at the spur of the moment, just like boom. Yep.
He was
we're
always
coming.
there for people, like, and that's why the people wanted to be here for the day. Like it's just like, he'd drop a hat and sit down and pull up a stool, drop his hat, and pour a pint for you and talk to you. Like anytime you walked into Falling Knife and he was there, somebody was sitting there talking to him, as long as they wanted to talk.
And he'd rock your face off with a bass guitar.
Yeah.
Go Timberwolves.
And hardcore Timberwolves.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
They sent a last name or a Tom Berg jersey over to Falling Knife when they heard about all that. So yeah. But brewing wasn't the only thing on the agenda for the Tom Berg inaugural Memorial Chop and Brew Brew and Q.
That's right.
Tell me about what was in Tom's smoker that day.
Well, you know when we brew, you gotta have something in the smoker. So we filled it with some ribs. Went and got some baby backs. I don't remember exactly how many I got, but you can see in the picture the smoker is full.
How many ribs you got?
A lot.
How many ribs you got?
A lot. Yep. So I cut them all apart. Each rib, cut all single pieces. We rubbed it with some mustard and then dry rubbed it, put them on the smoker, let it smoke until they were perfect. They were crispy, a little crispy, perfect. And then we dunked them in some sauces.
Y'all dunked. We had a trio. We had a sampler of ribs.
Yeah, we had dry rub, we had a chipotle raspberry sauce, and we had maple bacon.
Yep, it was really good. And I don't remember where the maple bacon recipe came. It came off of TikTok, I want to say.
Of course,
off the talk.
Of course it did. Everything.
And then threw in some smoked cream cheese.
Yeah.
Yep. Hit it up with some bacon jam and some strawberry rhubarb, chipotle rhubarb jelly preserves on top of the smoked cream cheese. If you've not done that, it's really simple, dumb, stupid, easy. Just an hour of smoke on the cream cheese and pull it out and dump some preserves on top. And
That was an electric smoker.
yeah,
Yep.
stupid easy.
Yeah.
Smoked cream cheese every day.
Yep.
What have you ever done that process where you cut the ribs before?
No, I've never done it before.
You did it more out of like time.
Yeah, it's something different.
It was cool to see it work. I mean, I do it.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of work.
I mean, you're
It was
gonna
a
cut
lot
them
of
sooner or
ribs,
later.
yeah.
And honestly, I think it works best because now you're getting rub on like every side of the rib versus just the top and bottom.
Same with the smoke, all around it.
Yeah.
Not just on the bone side and the meat side. Now it's on.
I do that with the Vortex, which is almost like deep frying on a grill, but you still had the low and slow-ish, I guess I would say.
Yeah. But they were done in
Like
3 hours at the most.
But yeah, shout out to Robbie and everybody at Fallen Knife. Much love to that crew and families. They still deal with the giant hole in everybody's heart that Tom left. They're actually doing Kolsch service on a collaboration tribute Kolsch for Tom throughout the end of June and into July. So not someone that's easily forgotten anytime soon. Yeah.
He'll always be a part of the Twin Cities Brewing.
Hell yeah. She'll always be part of Pig Out.
Yeah.
As long as that smoker's here. Now we have to like chrome that smoker to make sure it never
Never rusts out. Oh.
I might have a little rust already.
So raise a glass to Tom Berg. Brew your own version of Almost Tom's. We'll post
Almost Tom's.
the version of Brian's. Let's talk about just super quick tweaks because you want to brew it again
Tweaks.
for Pig Out.
Well,
Corn
the
syrup,
corn syrup.
without salt and vanilla.
Yeah,
Or just
flavoring.
straight corn sugar. If Robbie
Robbie
says
said
corn
we
sugar,
have-
then this goes straight to corn sugar.
Maybe try to find the Warrior hops.
Magnum Warrior. Those be easy to
Yeah.
find. And
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd maybe dial back the Carafoam even a little bit because I know people use Carafoam, but like it does have color. So 2-row and 6-row shouldn't really have that much.
Right.
You could probably just go more 6-row and corn. I don't know.
And look at the mash temp too.
We don't want
Make
to
the
take
mash
too
a
many
little lower.
variables.
Yeah,
A couple variables, 1 or 2 variables, and check.
it is almost Tom's. It's not.
That's why the name is gonna stay Almost Tom's.
Chop for chop.
Brew for brew. Let me know when you make yours. I want to know how it turned out. What are you doing?
2 fists in it, literally.
That won't make the cut.